I'd like to give a huge welcome to the wonderful Alobar, who's here today to chat about his incredible work. That's really important work for our planet at the moment. So normally what I do is I give you time to do a bit of an introduction, Alobar, but given that your work is stealth work and that you're not really wanting to be in the spotlight necessarily for who you are, but rather, for the work, I'm going to highlight your work as opposed to you. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, look, look, I'm not important. I am just another human, but humanity needs this work done, and it's and it impacts all of us. Like I'm not precious about myself in that one, on that frame. But if you think of it in a whole species perspective, like losing one of me ain't that big of a deal. But what I'm talking about really is.
And also because it's stealth work, you're not necessarily wanting to, stand in the spotlight. You're wanting to, on a level, go under the radar, I guess.
I've got protections against that.
Yeah.
However, what do I want to say? The point of me putting this out there is to A, give humanity hope, and B, recruit more people who are doing this work solo.
It's brilliant. I totally resonate with what you do. So just to give the audience a bit more of an indication, you go out on missions and you do energy work to heal the planet and to eliminate, the darkness, I guess. And it's interesting because I also have a soul healing group, very similar. We go out and we do energy healing. We don't use exactly the same techniques, practices. We're a bit less what's the word? A bit less kick-ass. How can I say that than you? But we do it in our way, and you have these amazing missions that you do with groups of people, and so we're doing similar things that I think are incredibly important that I don't know heaps of people that are doing at the moment. And so how important is this energy work, do you think, Alobar, in terms of, when we look at the physical things that people are doing, to make a difference? How much do you feel the energy work is way more impactful and effective than the physical work? Because I certainly do. What do you think?
Yeah. Look, the second Hermetic law is as above, so below. So it doesn't say what happens on the 3D then impacts the 4D. It says the higher planes impact the lower plane. And so once you fix a problem in the higher planes, it no longer manifests in the physical. And so although this work is ephemeral, although it's difficult to track and esoteric, and it is, and without being funny about it, it takes years to become competent in this earth impactful kinds of meditations. You got to be damn good to even get a seat at the table,
And that's partly to do with soul standing, isn't it? Which is the integrity of your soul, or the character of your soul as forged over many, many incarnations and lifetimes.
Totally. But I think we're doing very, very similar work, and there are two very, very basic directions that can go in. One is the formation of the new earth and embedding fresh emotions and feelings and thoughts, and really enhancing the field for positive interactions. Yeah, and that's what you're doing. What our groups, not exclusively but primarily do, is go and beat up the idiots who want to have negative interactions and who want something for nothing out of planet Earth. Mm-hmm. These are the parasite spirits. These are the parasite alien species that you've probably heard of. And so our little group, we fly around at night and we beat them up. We track them, we capture them, and we take them to Galactic Federation of Light Courts. We destroy the facilities. We destroy the facilities they use. The reason this work is rare is because nobody likes dealing with demons. Nobody likes dealing with not just loose single demons, but whole organizations of starfaring demons. They're bloody bad news, It's not. it's considered risky business, but the fact of the matter is that light technology is far superior to everything they have. They've got nothing useful against highly trained, strong, dedicated light workers. They just literally, it's like bows and arrows against tanks. Like once you get it figured out, once you know how to fight them, they don't stand a chance. So, as it stands, I've probably got tens of millions of scalps, tens of millions of, my body counts in the tens of millions of these bad guys. And, this is not just recently, this is like what I've been doing for years.
Yes.
But these groups are just a natural expression of the development of this work. After doing this for years, then with other people, I can then take on bigger groups of bad guys.
So do you train the people that come on board so that they are able to, advance their skill set?
Well, that's the payoff. Like there's no money involved in the work we do.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's already competent on the astral planes. The astral travel quite well. But there are certain tools and upgrades that we immediately give people so that nothing can go wrong, which wouldn't happen around the presence of our real warriors. But without being funny about it, you need this kind of protection. You need this level of protection technology to stay safe.
So by being under your auspices, when they do this work, they naturally got that protection around them.
Oh, totally. It would be really irresponsible for me to bring people into a dangerous situation.
Sure. So I'm really encouraging people to, if this resonates with you, to do this mission work, just to contact him and just really, get on board, because, the more people doing this, the better. I wanted to ask you an interesting question too about, we did energy work with our group to basically disempower this whole, WHO pandemic meeting that was in Geneva, Switzerland. And
wasn't that funny?
Wasn't that great? And
our group hit Tedros earlier that week.
Yes. Well, we did a lot of
another
work
one
on
guy of the World Health Organization. And the never took place.
I know. I was going to say, how good was that? How much do you think? And now I'm not saying this to ring our bells or to be an ego. That's not the point of it at all. But it's just to show and highlight how important the energy work is. How much do you think that the work that we did impacted that result?
Definitely. Look, these things, everything is decided upstairs before it happens in time here.
Yeah.
Laid out step by step, but everything's already decided.
Yeah. Because I know how much that would have impacted, but just trying to, convey to the audience how powerful this work is.
Oh, look, our team had a push in that direction. Your team had a push in that direction. I'm sure there are dozens of other groups and individuals who are going, I don't think those World Health Organization guys should get away with this stuff.
That's right.
And let's understand exactly what we're playing with here, right? They want to kill the bulk of humanity through medical
interventions,
call it that, and enslave the rest of them to the point so that humanity can never ever get out of it. That's an act of war. Act of war. The first meaning of the first time the word robot appears in any writing anywhere is in the Talmud. It's an ancient Hebrew text, and it means it. And in the ancient Hebrews, were they working with robotics? I don't think so. However, the word robot means a slave who cannot run away. Wow. And the whole transhumanist agenda, the idea of putting chips in us, the idea of becoming part cyborg or Borg at all, whatever it is that you want to call that, that's actually the tool of enslavement. The Great Reset is just 100% enslavement. And there's a few things that I want to say here is that the humans involved in selling out the rest of our species, right? What on earth, what in the whole galaxy could you actually pay people to make that decision?
And what a cost to their soul. I mean, how much will they have to pay for that on a soul level, that they're actually contributing to that?
Well, I'll tell you specifically what they're paying, all right? Eternity.
Yeah.
Trapped for eternity. Everybody who's pushing the Great Reset is possessed.
Yeah.
Every single one, because there is no price that can be paid. You can't put a price on selling out your planet and your species. There's just nobody's egoic enough to really want that. However, being the ones they've already possessed, it means that they can put the decision makers, they already own the decision makers. So, and when we go and look at them, and we've exercised a number of these key individuals. There is 1% of their soul left, right? So, and that allows for the legal right for them to be on Earth and to be part of the human culture thing, right? But the other 99%, all of those decisions are made by the evil aliens who've taken over their body.
That was actually my question for you. I was going to ask, how much humanity do you think is in one of those beings? So you just
not much. and the answer is, like, by galactic law, just enough. There's 1 million shares, and one soul has the one share. Their soul used to own the whole body, and now owns one share, but it's still a part owner. Therefore, it's all okay, you know.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah. So what we've been doing is we've been tackling, we've been cleaning them out of the individuals, but we've also been finding the networks on the astral planes and basically killing or capturing and taking to court everybody that we find there. We destroy their dimensions, we destroy their facilities, we destroy the machinery that they use to manipulate humans. We destroy this. Everything that's to do with them is no good for humanity. That's why it has to go. The whole lot. Right? And the success we've been having with pushing these groups off planet has been huge. Group one after the other. Like, on your average session, we will come across a department of the evil aliens, or some of their minions, or some demonic group, or whoever the hell they are this time. But Gaia points out who's next. She points, go after them, now them. See, so it's like, she just lays it all out for us, right? And one by one, we crush their defenses and capture everybody else, and we march them off planet. Like, just get the hell out of here. You're banished. We don't want you here. And it's really, really, it's really, really powerful. I do have the key question right now is, why the Great Reset? Right? Now, the Illuminati, they already controlled the whole planet. So what do they need further control for? What are they pushing for? What are they trying to get out of all this?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, and it's actually rather simple. It's about the end of a contract. So for those of you who've been in this spiritual milieu for like 10, 20 years, you may remember Ashiana Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Excellent, right? Ashiana Dean was spot on 100% correct.
Yes.
Dealing with is a guardian group who manage planet Earth as a farm, where they harvest, primarily our emotions, but also human bodies, body parts, children, all sorts of jazz, right? Because this is a farm and we are the cattle. Now, the reptilians encourage and teach and integrate with black magic very, very well. And so the top echelon of humanity is all involved in black magic. And through that, they manage planet Earth as a farm. Now, the reptilian contract for planet Earth has ended. It finished in December 21, 2012, and they had a transition period which ended in December 21, 2021. But they are handing the contract over to the Mantids, a group of, they look like giant insectoid.
Like a praying mantis type energy.
Yeah, they're 8 or 9 feet tall and usually white in colour. They don't talk to anyone because they don't actually respect us at all. We are like, in the same way we don't talk to ants. They don't talk to us.
Yeah.
They're here to pick up the contract. They're here. They've got a beachhead and it's dwindling, but they've got a beachhead here because they are claiming the contract to manage Earth as a farm. However, like the mantid species have, they're a hive mind. They want one center of thought processing to make all the decisions for the entire species, which is an AI for them. My astral travel journey told me that they ran out of the limit. They found the limit of how much brain power they can biologically create. And it's so much easier for them to use a computer to manage the 10 or 11 different planets that they're on and all the interactions therefore. Yeah. Like to run the entire to run an interplanetary hive that spans the galaxy, there's just no single animal that has enough brain power to run it, so they built an AI.
I heard that the supercomputer went down for them here on planet Earth. That was taken down.
I totally believe it. I totally believe it. I'm not pushing against the mantids at the moment. Like we did a mission a couple of weeks ago, but we are not targeting the center of the hive at the moment. The group is now going through the decision makers of the Great Reset.
Yeah.
The World Health Organization wrote themselves some laws to empower them to, create
have sovereignty over the world.
Any time they like.
Yeah.
To rule the earth with an iron boot.
Can I ask if you'd finished that stream of thought? Had you finished there?
No. I just want to say this is why we need smart cities. This is why we have smart cars and smart phones and smart meters and smart this and smart that. This is why 5G is here.
Yeah.
Because the mantids cannot understand humanity. We are too independent. We're too free thinking. Everybody can.
Too creative.
Yeah, totally. So they want, for them to take over the planet and manage the place well, they need us to integrate with their AI. And to do that, the transhumanist agenda is here. They want us to become cyborgs so that they can actually manage humanity the way they want to.
Yeah.
Right now they can't handle us. They can't. And the reptilians have failed.
Yeah.
To prepare the cattle for the handover.
And that is because we have, as a species, evolved so much that they no longer can keep the lid on us. We've raised our frequency collectively, so good on us. Pat ourselves on the back. We've done the work.
Well, let me tell you the really good news.
Yeah.
There is no longer any timeline possible. There is absolutely no possibility that the mantids take control of planet Earth.
Yeah.
All the timelines point to the humans taking over Earth and Earth being an exclusively human culture.
Beautiful.
It's so much work. So much has gone into it,
But I mean, there's no words to say how good that is, are there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've won. We've won.
Yeah.
And and it's at a technological level. It's at a astral travel being a technology. I'm going to say it's at a level where they've had absolute and complete dominance for the longest time.
Yeah.
Just through Dolores Cannon's different waves of incarnating beings who've managed to create a culture, a subculture with humanity that does magic. Magic has almost been destroyed on planet Earth, but we've revived it.
Yeah.
And we've deployed it against them. They now have no technological advantage to rule the planet with.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, there's a lot of sort of vulnerability in certain parts of the world at the moment. For example, Canada and Australia, in terms of this whole, rollout of what they're trying to do. So how can we, what sort of future do you foresee in the short term for Canada and Australia? How can we push back against that? Because, there's a lot of information out there at the moment that's saying that, for example, by August that they're wanting to impose some sort of, martial law, food restrictions, you can't travel, rah, 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 all that sort of, which I'm not putting the energy on for us to create by focusing on, but I'm bringing awareness to the fact that this is something that is what they're potentially wanting to create. So how can we undo that? How can we uncreate that? Obviously, it's not complying and saying no, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, there are two things to do. One is don't comply, and don't write letters, actually, because government in Australia and in Canada only responds to complaints, and they spend all their time and their effort on people complaining. So complain to them, mate. Be a pain, and that way the apparatus, the wheels that the bureaucracy turns on, will just be clogged up. So just write a letter and be annoying for anything they want. Just if you get a parking ticket, there are people, once you write 10 letters for a parking ticket, they give up because the amount of hours they have to pay for somebody to do it, to write letters back to you, exceeds the value of the ticket. And the more
call.
just keep annoying them. Do nothing they want. All right. It's incredibly powerful though, right? But this is a battle of the 1% versus the 1%. Right. So support the 1%. Support your team. Do what they need to do. Help them do what they need to do. You need support. Your group needs support. Our group needs support. Get the message out there. There are people who are fighting for humanity, not in defense, on total offense, which is how we got to the place where we're at.
And I think getting organised, creating groups around you of people that are on the same page and saying, you contact them, I'll contact them, and, unify in that way rather than just doing everything independently. I think that's really
definitely. Look, we have a run group. So if martial law comes, we can all pack up and disappear into the forest inside of 2 days. We've got, I think it's 500 or 750 kilos of long storage food. We've got all the equipment to camp and to build a house if we need to. At the place we're living, I've installed 25 square meters of garden beds so that we will be more or less food self-sufficient. Look, don't trust the government. Let's get it straight. The government actually would prefer it if you're dead. And if there's food rioting, if there's food shortages, then it's so much easier for you if you go and kill your neighbours for something to eat. They genuinely want this. They genuinely want this because by their own statements, there are too many people on Earth and they can't control them. By their own statements. So they're going to, you watch it in the US where I think it's 12 major food processing plants have all gone up in flames in the last month. They're making life really difficult for truck transport, so they can't move food around. They want to break the food supply chain. And you might be a vegetarian, you might be a vegan, you might eat meat sometimes, but be aware that you are a truckatarian. All of the food that you eat comes to you on a truck.
And Vanguard are in charge of the it's called urea, which is part of diesel, and they've stopped the supplies of urea, so people won't be able to get diesel, and therefore there'll be no trucks being able to run because they can't get diesel. So, they are primarily in charge of the ability for the trucks to be able to have fuel.
To actually move at all. So we're talking about manufactured famine. It's not the first one that's in history. There are many in history.
Do you think we're more insulated here in Australia, for example, than in America with food shortages? Because, we have such a lush supply of, food here in a relatively small population.
Our farms are mega farms, but, I live in a semi-rural area and it's amazing how many big open green fields there are just growing nothing more than grass and having a few cows to make sure that doesn't get out of control. It's, our resources are not being used well,
No.
No.
We're not a smart country, but not smart being the word that they want.
No, let's get it straight. Australia is no longer the leader in the world of anything. No, we could have been, but we've been too busy
selling out to China and places like that.
Oh, look, how many different ways can I say Australia's just gone to the dogs? Yeah, and they want it to be that way.
So you mentioned that the one aspect is complying, contacting governments, that sort of thing. What was the other aspect? Was the other aspect that you were going to
prepare yourself?
Prepare, yeah.
Because, and I'll say this, and we've had supermarket shortages in the last few months. If there's no food in the supermarket, do you know what you're going to do? Do you actually have a plan? Do you know what comes next? Do you have anything prepared?
And do you think that the digital situation will come in with the supermarkets where you can only access it if you are part of that system?
Yeah, that's entirely feasible. Entirely. But, I can think of a lot of different groups who are out there, learning to grow veggies and have a place to go to grow them. A decent seed bank only costs $200 to $500, depending on how many varieties of food you want to grow.
Yeah.
Everything's feasible.
Yes.
Everything's feasible.
It takes me back to the Anastasia books, that where she really encouraged from, when they were written quite a while ago, she really encouraged everyone to have their own, vegetable plots. And it was such a source of motivation for Russia that, they started making decisions based on her, teachings about, how everyone should have their own supply of food, and they're doing that as well, in Russia. So they're way ahead in that level than
the Russian. There's actually a Russian word it's called dacha, right?
Yes. Duckling. Is it duckling?
One acre and a shack, and and if you spend 15 to 20 hours a week looking after the garden, you not only feed yourself, but you're surplus for other people. It's phenomenal, like just what you can grow in 1 acre.
Yeah. And that connection to the divine and Mother Earth through connecting with the plants and the soil, which really empowers your own divine connection. All that is part of, it's what we're meant to be doing.
Look, I get a kick out of growing things, actually, like the little green guys getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It really fills my heart,
Yeah.
Like I work online all the time. I'm doing astral travel all the time, and all this sort of crazy stuff. Going back to basics and just watching passion fruit grow on the vine, it's so rewarding. I can't explain it. It's so beautiful.
It is, absolutely.
And watching my missus go into the garden, cut off some leaves, and then they're on the plate for dinner time. Like, knowing that everything is as fresh as could humanly be.
That's what you want. Yeah.
We love it. We absolutely love it.
That life force in the food, which is what we tried to take out, the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them. They tried to.
They're doing a great job too. They're really organised in it.
Yeah. I do think that there's a lot going on underneath that we are not being privy to, because it's clandestine, but it's the good guys, the alliance, all that sort of thing, working very, very hard underneath to also, clean up the planet. I feel that that's going on. I mean, for example, you look at the explosion at the Geneva airport, right at the time of these meetings.
On the day all the bigwigs are coming in.
Exactly. So
for the World Control Party,
Exactly. So, I feel that there's so much going on that we can't see that has to be done that way. Otherwise, it would be too exposed, and their activities would be compromised. So,
people like you and I are doing this work, right? And there is no overarching organisation that we work for. We're just independent humans who think this would be a good idea. We don't have a big apparatus with name badges and conventions and hierarchies. We're not doing that. However, there are a lot of us who are doing this. There are a lot of people doing this work. And everybody wants to see a world that's that we want to live in.
Yeah.
And now is such a crux time. Everything you can to make that true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think an individual who wants to make a difference, who perhaps feels like they're not going to make any difference if they do something, what can you say to that person? You know, that feeling of being unable to make a difference. You know, many people have that feeling within them. How would you empower them to know that just one soul can make all the difference in the world?
So leadership doesn't necessarily mean you have a bunch of people following you around doing everything you tell them to do. That's not leadership. Leadership is where you have a good idea and then you pursue it and you do it and it comes out cool. It might be sculpture, it might be gardening, it might be public speaking, it might be anything you can show leadership in. But if you do it and you do it well, then there will be fans for you. There will be people who you make a difference to, who you influence, who see what you're doing and garner hope, who understand, you know, and it can be absolutely anything that you choose to do. But, you know, each individual, each soul has their own passions. So it matters and it doesn't matter as well. Like, it matters to you because you have to do it. It doesn't matter to anybody else what you do. No, but your parents won't mind if you're an accountant or if you're a gardener, just so long as you've got a job and you can look after yourself and you're good. You know, it's not important, and you're happy doing it. It's important to you, but it's not important to everybody else. But once you do it and do it well, you will set an example for other people to follow. It's that kind of leadership where you don't need to have people following you around and putting their hand out for a pay pack to do your thing. You just need to do it and people will get excited on your behalf.
So I would describe that as anything that nourishes your soul, that actually feeds you on that level to do more and more and more and expands your energy through that level of, feeling sort of stimulated and fulfilled and satisfied because you're accomplishing your soul calling. You know, that
totally.
And then that
yesterday we stopped work and we danced to Prince.
Right? Lovely. Love it.
Because we just needed to. That's just what we decided was happening.
And which Prince song was it?
We're in such a good mood all day that all the people we bumped into noticed it, you know?
Oh, fantastic.
But even if your thing is just to dance and make other people dance, you will be making the world a better place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think too also, I'm just getting intuitively to say that, you know, when we're going in and doing this work to better ourselves and help the world and support one another, just, you know, asking, you know, intuitively to connect to all the other souls on the planet that are here to make a difference and to bring in light and to expand. We ask to connect to all the other souls and empower them and help them to, you know, really expand their skills. And that's what I'm getting is a good thing to say when we do this work as well.
You know, the world is full of amazing people, but a lot of them keep their amazing inside. Let it out, guys. Let it out, please. For yourself and for the rest of us. Let your amazing shine.
Fantastic. So tell me, what's your next project, if you can share it, that you'll be working on to encourage people to come and work with you in your group? And I'm going to leave all the contact details below the interview so that they can contact you.
Well, I have a Patreon, so you can help us financially. So some of the members of the team don't have to go to work. They can come to missions instead of going to work. Make a difference that way. And it does make a difference what we're getting. But yeah, look, my other jobs are as a medical intuitive, and I also work as a mental health intuitive, which are very, very rare. But, you know, for the cases that the doctors cannot fix or do not know what to do with, tap us on the shoulder, and it'll either be myself or a member of our team who has the solution to that. You'd be surprised. It's stunning what we can do, but I can't say too much in a public forum, because I know people have been sued for saying this sort of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, no, the medical profession's a bit jealous of us.
Yes. Well, they're becoming a little bit redundant now, and obviously, with everything that's happening, we're losing so much of our.
Once all this comes out, they're over. It's over. The pharmaceutical industry is over.
Absolutely.
Those companies are going to be sued out of existence.
And I mean, any time that a whole civilization is going to have a sort of a deconstruction, I mean, it's not going to be just a simple, easy situation where it all just flows. It's that deconstruction process is. It's
going to be messy.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of winners and lots of losers in this change.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of history, and like every time something changes, this group ascends and this group descends. Anything that changes. And we're about to go through a crunch time where multiple facilities, multiple parts of our culture that we consider normal are going to change or disappear.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So how to keep track of that? You've got to be resilient and ready.
And I think the major thing too is through this process, in terms of being a winner, is to just maintain your integrity through the whole process, to be working from the highest platform of integrity and collective good, service to others, and while also obviously looking after yourself as much as you can, and loving yourself, and everything. I think that integrity is the key thing. How can you stand in your truth, your authentic truth, and be in highest level of integrity through this process? And that's to all the doctors out there, all the ambulance workers, all the
medical staff,
teachers, everyone who knows they're being compromised by being forced to be in a system that does not serve humanity. How are you serving your own integrity at this time?
Yeah, if you can live without, you don't have to take the money off these guys. There is more than one way. There's lots of different things you can do.
And that's the spiritual test, isn't it? I mean, it's taking the higher road.
Yeah. No, there's no reason to sell out. Absolutely.
No, I totally agree. Well, this has been fantastic. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that you think is important at this time?
Planet Earth is about to go through a renaissance. I
love that word.
The humans have been suppressed. The technologies that have been hidden from us. Like, we haven't had any big technological developments in 50 or 70 years.
No.
All of the patents are being brought up and then never implemented, just so that they can maintain a world they can control. Yeah. But what's going to happen is, in the next little while, all of those technologies are going to be released freely to humanity. All of the social restrictions and all of the governmental restrictions are going to disappear as well. So humanity is going to bloom in the next 5 years. And we are so blessed to be here for it. I cannot how much hope and excitement I have for what comes next for humanity.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Much longer to go through this, but everything's going to be okay.
I think you were saying 2 years. You're feeling like it'll be 2 years before we start to see the really...
Yeah, two years of chaos. Chaos because there's no government, and chaos because of government, then chaos because there's no government.
Yeah.
And the chaos reduces as we begin to organise ourselves better.
And that's all about community, how we come together in community, how we unify, and how we work together to be able to bring in the new the new systems, the new ways of being.
Well, look, yeah, we've got to make that stuff up. And that's exciting.
Yeah, totally. For a creative being like me, I love it, you know. I always try to find new, interesting, original ways to do things.
And the whole of humanity is going to have to adapt into it. And what's interesting is the ones who've given into the medical malady, they're the obedient ones. And so for the next phase, they may not all be here. And so obedience might be a quality that humanity doesn't have anymore.
Yeah.
Which will make for a really interesting society. It'll make for a really interesting.
That's true. Carrie Cassidy wrote a book on it called The Rebel Gene. And
there you go.
You know, having that gene within you that is not going to just comply unless it aligns with your own inner truth. And that's what we need on this planet, you know, in order to really raise the bar and ascend, is to be able to function according to our own inner authentic truth, because that, as it resonates at our soul level, it's going to resonate collectively as well.
Yeah, well, look, that's what we have. That's what the Renaissance is all about. Go make the world how you think it should be. And you know, there's nobody to stop you. There's no government leaning on you. There's nothing. There's no laws. There's no shortage of resources or technology to implement it. It's just up to you. What do you want to make? What do you want it to be about?
And a great template.
I know the world needs more rainbow wizard towers. My mission is to go around building rainbow wizard towers.
I love it. I've seen so many lovely rainbows lately too, by the way. Really beautiful rainbows. But the other thing too is, like, if you want to know what a Renaissance is like or has been like, go back and look at the Renaissance that happened with, you know, Leonardo da Vinci, and, you know, all the beautiful, incredible artwork and music that flowered and flourished. It was just unbelievably beautiful at that time of the, you know, that past Renaissance that the earth went through. I mean, that could be inspiring for people to tap into the energy of that, because the creativity and the beauty and the divine connection that came through with all that, creativity was so inspirational.
Well, yeah, like, you know, the Renaissance marks the end of the 1,000 years known as the Dark Ages. So, like, just get an idea that humanity has gone through a minor Dark Ages period, and that's about to end.
Yeah. Yay.
All right.
Well, thank you so much again for the wonderful work that you're doing. I think it is really incredibly essential and powerful at the moment. And again, I encourage, you're so welcome. I encourage people who are listening to, if you have any spark of guidance, to be involved and just see if you can join these groups and try it out, see how it feels. You know, you might find that it really empowers you and gives you also much more skills and abilities, because that's the other thing, isn't it? It's being able to really build very quickly our own skill set so that we are multi-purposeful and that we can do a lot of things. I mean, particularly if there are a lot of people that are leaving the planet, there's a lot of skills that are going to be leaving the planet. So we have to really expand our own ability to function in multiple ways on this planet.
Yeah, we'll make it. You know, this is going to be an exciting time.
Yeah.
It's fun to just be part. It's fun to just be part of what's of a movement for a whole species and for a whole. You know, it's
That's
just
right. And you were chosen. Whoever's listening, you were chosen, especially for this.
Thank you, lovely. It's really flattering. You keep up the good work too. You know, you guys are doing a lot as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, lovely to chat. We'll have to chat again. So much to talk about.
Ciao for now.
Bye.